King Earl and Nash Cowboy. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, doing great.
Doing good.
Wonderful.
All right, guys. So we got a big show today. We're gonna do something different today. So instead of going over a whole bunch of topics, I wanted to go over the biggest topic that's happening right now: the war that is happening between Israel and Palestine and the Hamas. That some are saying could be the beginning of World War III. Now, my first question, we're going to talk about this. This is a special report strictly on the war today. And I've got 3 Americans with me today. I'm in Canada, and we all have our own opinions about what's going on. So I want to start with this. Why don't we start with this? We're going to go Nash, Earl, and then Blaze. Okay, we're going to go in that order, gentlemen. Nash, is this the start of World War III? What's your opinion?
Absolutely. I do think it's the start of World War III. I think World War III has already started. We have so much going on right now. It's not just Israel and Hamas. I mean, we've got Ukraine and Russia. We've got us in Russia. We've got the UK and Russia. We have China and Taiwan. There's a lot going on. Nobody's saying it, but when basically every point of the world is at war, it's World War. And unfortunately, a lot of bad things could happen very easily in the near future.
All right. Well, that's one for World War. King Earl, are we in the beginning, or is this the beginning, or are we in World War III?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Not yet. You want to elaborate
Not
on
yet.
that?
There's several things that need to happen as far as the rest of the world getting involved. I mean, right now you're looking at several aspects of war on multiple fronts, but it's still not world involved yet, except for financing and backing. And we're not directing any direct conflict through multiple countries. It's just one-on-one so far.
Okay. And Blaze. So we got one for World War III. We got one for no. Blaze.
Okay, so basically we got the egg for World War III. It hasn't hatched yet. Do I think it's going to be a World War III? No.
Okay.
I don't think there's enough going on to make it as strong to be actually called a World War III, because, like Earl said, there's got to be way more countries involved. This is just we're feeding you some cash, giving you some weapons and food, and we're pulling up in your neighborhood. But, you know, even if America got to go in and get the hostages their way, it's still not World War III to me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't even feel it coming. I hope I'm right.
Okay. Well, I actually side with Nash Cowboy. I do believe that. I don't believe we're in World War III, but I think we could be in the beginning of World War III. I hope not, but I do believe that this could be the beginning of World War III. And so that gives us 2 people that say that we are and 2 people that say that we're not. So we're kind of split it. And I want to talk about my next topic. So Ray Dalio, very successful on Wall Street. Ray Dalio, everyone knows him. He believes that we are 50% chance of having World War III. What do you think about that, Nash Cowboy? He says there's a 50-50 chance.
A 50-50 chance. Let's flip a coin. Let's see if we're in World War III. Heads. Who's got heads? Who's got heads? Oh, no, it's tails. Sorry. Oh. Well, shit. I can't put any stock in that.
All right.
I put more stock in my fucking moonshine I got up there. Oops, sorry, I cussed. I know I'm not supposed to do that.
All right. Let's say, Earl, what do you think? Ray Dalio says 50-50 chance that this is the beginning of World War III. What do you think about that?
I believe weathermen are the only ones that have to be right 10% of the time and still keep their job. And he's just trying to play into the safe zone there.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah,
And
50%.
I
Me and
mean,
Earl could say that too, but we still think different.
Yeah, I don't know what else other information he's put out to back his theories of his chance, but yeah, sounds like a great quality guy to take stock tips from.
Yeah.
What do you
My
think, Dave?
opinion, he's into the stock market. He don't know nothing about the world, I guess. Anybody on this planet can say 50-50. I could have played that safe, but I decided to go 51-50, like Van Halen. That it's at the end of the day, you know, my opinion is just as good as his, you know. So I'm not on his side about it. I don't believe in split in the middle and you're a public figure and you're saying 50-50. That is so safe, but it gets your name out there. That's all.
Okay. My opinion on it when I saw it was, I think it is kind of 50-50. We were split 50-50, right? Two of us said yes, two of us said no. So I think a lot of people don't know. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not here to pick a side. I go on the side of peace. And I think all of us agree here. We all go on the side of peace. We want to see peace. We want to see peace.
If it's not peace, I want to see resolution. You know,
There's a 50-50
Yes.
chance that this moonshine right here is going to knock me out before the end of the show.
but
I'm a good boy. I'm drinking water.
I think that there's that's kind of where we're at. I think it's pretty split. Like some people think this is World War III. Some people think it started with the Ukraine war with Russia. Some people think that there's no chance of war, that the United States has these warships out there and they're just there to like chaperone the war,
Mm-hmm.
So and that
Basically.
goes to my next question. Donald Trump came out and said he believes that this war is here, that he's pretty much 100% sure that we're going down to World War III right now because of the Biden administration. Do you agree with Donald Trump, Nash Cowboy?
Yes, 100%. Not on everything, but that, yes, I do.
All right. King Earl, what do you think? Is Donald Trump right or is he wrong? Has the Biden administration funded World War III, as Donald Trump is saying?
Has he funded it? No. I believe that we're on the cusp of any reality of probability with the current administration that we have in office dragging their feet and not being upfront or actually placing their full toes in the fire to believe on the stands that they believe on. I think that Trump might be trying to use an episode of what's going on in his favor for his election campaign that's going to be going on, especially as the lawsuits continue to fall around his campaign for people speaking out and then people suing him. He's going to need more and more ammo to use against the Biden administration if he's even running against the Biden administration. So he'll go full Democrats after that. But I just view that it's just a campaign piece. He's using it to try to build aggression. I mean, people were blaming that he would start World War III when he was running.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's just a key speaking point that this guy right here might start something, but, at the end of the day, it's all about who stands in front of him, and Biden ain't going to be on the front lines.
Okay. King Earl, thank you so much. And Blaze, what do you think? Is Donald Trump right? Are we in World War III or is he wrong?
He's wrong.
Okay.
You know why? Here's the thing, right? War's going more than 1 year, right? We got an election coming up. Donald might get in office. And I'll be honest with you. Our ships are over there. Biden is the scapegoat. Okay. He put money into people. I don't believe he knew that the $6 billion was going to go to anything like that. Okay. I think he was just, trying to win America's favorite president by saving people. If you could put up 140 something $billion to supply a country to fight, and you can't put up $6 billion to save lives, then you got an issue. And that's how I look at it. So I think Donald's just doing it as a little pitch to keep people away from Biden vote. But when Donald gets in, and it's going to be a lot more aggressive than what we're seeing right now. Bottom line. Easily. Donald will be way more aggressive than what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I don't think. See, for me, I don't think we'd be in a war if Donald was president, because when Donald was president, we didn't have a war. But it
No,
seems as though
as it stands now, he's if there was a war, like everybody thinks 50-50, and Donald gets in, he's not going to pull troops out and say we quit. He's going to do. He's going to show him who he really is. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
But Donald in 2020 said, if you guys put the Biden administration in power, we'll go directly into World War. He is correct, because the second that Biden got into power, they started funding the Ukraine to the tune of 113 billion plus more going to Ukraine. So they started funding that war, and then recently they funded $6 billion to Iran, which they've now just frozen, and now they've funded apparently Israel. I don't know if it's approved or not, but at least $8 billion in funding to Israel. So essentially, the Biden administration is funding the entire war. They've funded the Ukraine-Russia war. They're funding this new war. So I think Trump's right. Like, if the Biden administration stays, we're going to World War III, because nothing is getting better. Things are only escalating. And now we're hearing that China might look to take over Taiwan. So the world is in chaos right now, and it doesn't seem like the Biden administration is doing anything. And what the Biden administration did in Afghanistan was devastating, because they just left, and they left tanks and guns and planes and tons of weaponry. And those are essentially being used right now in this war potentially. So there's a lot of weird things that have happened. So my next question for you guys, and it's something that is really concerning me, is the border wall in the US. What is going on? How the heck are we allowing here in Canada and the United States potential terrorist groups to be coming right into our country? Like, how are we allowing this to happen? I'm so scared. So my next question is this: Nash Cowboy, are we going to have an attack on our own soil?
Yes. I do believe we are. Lock loaded and ready to go, but it's not that they might be crossing the border. They already know that they're crossing the border. Not just immigrants. There are terrorists crossing the border. Fact proven. But a lot of people don't know this, but every single state in the United States, and probably Canada too, has radical Islamic training camps. Not Islamic, radical Islamic. The largest being in Dover, Tennessee. And I've seen some drone footage of what they're training over there, and it's pretty scary. But to people like me, we don't really care. We've been locked, loaded, ready to go since they were born. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
All right, King Earl, what do you think?
I think anybody who's planning a terroristic plot on any homeland across the countries have already been in those countries for a while in preparation, or there's been building up to it, and they might be your closest freaking neighbor, and you'll never know. But I don't want to use the word radical Islamic, because it is written into the Quran for the death of the Jews, okay, twice. But, it's also Christians. But it doesn't have to be one of those sacks for it to be a terroristic attack, okay? So there's several different people. I mean, Mia, whatever her name is, Khalifa, with her radical thoughts on what was going on when she got fired from Playboy, right? She could go into a depressive shock and then just go out screaming many things and claim it to be several things while she attacks in stupidity and belief that she's doing the right thing, not that she's there for a cause. So there needs to be a separation of each attack, and then the full analysis needs to be gone through it to find out what the actual beginning of it was. before he's just claimed to be a terroristic threat or a terroristic attack, because you do not want to give credit to a terrorist organization and let them build a reputation off of false pretenses of attacks they did not commit.
Well said. So do you think there will be an attack on American soil?
I do believe there will be some, whether it comes from a radical jihadist or a stupidity blinded person who just thinks that they're doing the right thing and seeking attention through violence, is yet remain to be seen. So we'll have to go from there and see where it ends. I mean, all you can do is be prepared, be ready, and just be on the lookout for anything suspicious going on. Either I highly recommend report it up, if it's going on, rather than, going to do your own thing. Because if it is something well organized, then you'll probably not make it out. This is going to you audience people, that might be listening. You know, if it's well organized, there's probably more than one person involved. And your security might be at a risk, as well as the rest of your neighborhood, if something's going on like that. But, just keep an eye, report it to the appropriate authorities. Never feel sorry about speaking out as far as suspicion in your neighborhood, because, I mean, your children and other people's children live in these neighborhoods and communities, and you never know what the end result might be. And it's better just to pass it off to someone who has better intelligence work on it and better prepared for the situation and better prepared armament for the situation of whatever happens.
Okay, well said. Blaze, what do you think? Do you think that there will be an
Yes.
attack on American soil?
Absolutely, because, and if so, I think Biden should be held a breach of national security. I think he should be penalized for that, because you open the borders and we heard 9 out of 10 people across were male, and fit the bill, so it's already been plotted, it's already been planned, and it happens all the time. So absolutely, I think it's going to happen. And allowing people to just walk through like that really mess with our securities. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you, because you don't know who's what right now.
Yeah,
very
like
scary.
20,000 a day crossing the border.
Tensions are growing, right? Tensions are growing. We've already seen terrorist attacks happen in many different places.
And I think they're using their church houses too, where they do their, studies for religion and stuff. I think they're using that where people don't really pay attention or get in their business, because it's their religion,
I just
So I
hope
think-
we get to a point in
I think
this
a lot
life.
of the buildings' basements are full of people learning how to blow things up. I'm sorry, but that's what I feel.
I just feel like it would be nice for us to go into this life and be able to travel anywhere in the world and feel safe. And
That's what I
give
thought
peace-
life was supposed to be.
and give peace a chance, because I have kids. I know a lot of us here have kids. I want my kids to be able to have a normal life. I don't want them to be worried about terrorism. And it feels like that's what these terrorist extremists are trying to do, is they're trying to create fear.
Radical.
Try to create fear in all of us to think,
Yeah.
oh, this could happen in Canada, this could happen in the United States. We heard that it happened in France, where a teacher got murdered recently. And obviously we're seeing it happen in the Middle East, and there's a lot of tension. And we're seeing a war right now in the Ukraine. So there's a lot of tension happening all over the world, and it seems to be growing and growing. So my next question is, there's a lot happening right now, and there's been protests happening all over the world, and there's been protests happening in U.S. schools. So my question is, do you guys think it's right that someone should be able to go to University of UCLA, Harvard, and protest and say, for example, negative things about Jews? Do you think that that should be allowed at school when students are going there to learn? Should they have to be confronted with these types of protests? It seems a little bit, for me anyways, it seems a little bit dangerous. It seems extreme that this is happening right now. It seems like it's only adding to the tension, and it feels like something bad's going to happen at one of these rallies or a school or something. Do you guys think that these protests should be allowed to happen? Because in France, they do not allow those protests. They're actually eliminating anyone on the streets that's protesting. It's actually illegal to protest like that in France. So they're cleaning it up in France. They're having problems with it. It's not easy, but they're doing their best to try to stop it. In Canada and the United States, they're allowing it. And in countries all over the Middle East, they're allowing it. In countries all over the world, they're allowing it. And there's a few countries that are not allowing it. What do you guys think? What's your opinion? Do you think that that should be allowed? Start with you,
Well,
Kyle.
I believe that whether I agree with something or not, the right to peacefully protest should always be allowed. Um, and whenever violence comes into play or threatening one's life or something like that, then it should be stopped immediately. But I mean, more power to like the Palestinians protesting peacefully. I'm all for it. They should have the right, just like I have the right to protest whatever I want. It's our constitutional right, and I don't think that should be taken from anybody. Um, I don't. I'm not for Nazis, but there's a lot of Nazi protests that go on. They are smart enough to keep it peaceful, even though I'm sure they don't want to. Um, but I'm against it. But they still have the same rights that I do. There's a lot of there's a ton of there's vegans that protest. I'm completely against vegans, but you know, just because I don't like something doesn't mean they should be silenced for it. I I'm the victim of cancel culture a lot. When I speak out on some of these platforms, my videos get taken down and get canceled. And I don't think that anybody should have that done to them. But so yes, you should be able to peacefully protest. Um, Whenever violence or threats are brought out of that, that's when it should be shut down.
What do you think, girl?
I'm kind of in agreement with Nash here onto a certain circumstance. I believe that the constitutional right of freedom of speech and the freedom to protest peacefully should not be um, hurt, and that any stances to stop demonstrations or protests are just direct violations and or flagrant uh, violations of our rights, our constitutional rights, and that it's them just trying to stop the freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and any and all operations going against it are pretty much just setting the groundwork for future violations of freedom of speech to impede us on our freedom of speech here in the U.S., especially. But secondarily, I do believe that these protests should not be happening on school campuses for education. And then secondarily, if you have a theory that your children or your students might be involved in these protests, or you see the banners going up around your school for these protests, then you should go out, get yourself educated, or find someone who is, and set up a class where all the students that are going to be, not just all the students that are going to be in it, but all students need to be educated on what's going on so they don't go out there speaking blindly about something they do not know nothing about, and then get involved on something out of outrage of their freedom of expression being impeded when their expression has no intelligence behind it,
Okay.
so
Thank
that
you.
all people will be educated about what's going on.
Okay, great. All right, Blaze, what do you think? What do you think about these protests? Do you think this should be allowed?
Okay, so freedom of speech upon American residency, right?
Yes.
You'll be a full American, right? Because that's the Constitution's for a full American, right? All right, so a lot of people aren't full Americans that are protesting and causing these problems. So we didn't write in our Constitution freedom of speech for outsiders to cause problems in our neighborhoods of things that are going on that aren't American problems. Okay, freedom of speech is within the country. Okay, not what's going on in celebrating death. So if you don't like our way, you don't like the Western way, okay, then why are you abusing our privileges to get your word out in a country so far away from where it's happening? Because there's some people in this country that have rights too, you know, that they don't need to see violence and stuff like that. So it's a touchy situation for me. I think at the end of the day, if you're gonna every rule is made to be tweaked as well. You know, we have a freedom of speech amendment, right? But I think things need to be fixed up a little bit. It's year 2023, and we have opinions too. So to a certain point, yeah, freedom of speech to go out there and they're calling it protest, but it's a celebration. There's no protest there. It's a celebration. Protest is protest against something. A celebration is, it's aggravating, and it's against my opinion of United States being a peaceful country. It's what we've been trying to do, right?
I
Yeah.
think into the celebrations, it goes directly into the Palestinians' celebration of the death of Jerusalem. So I think that's where some of the celebrations that you're seeing is coming from. Not exactly what has happened, but it is an actual organized celebration over in some of these Islamic countries.
I think for me, like, I'm okay with protests, but when someone starts hating on people and celebrating death, I just think it's wrong.
It's a hate crime.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
freedom
wrong.
of speech is freedom of speech, but a hate crime's a hate crime.
Like, my
Yeah,
thing
because I'm
is,
full of hate. I'm full of
why
hate.
do
Trust me.
you, like, here in Canada, they're gonna fine you $25,000 if you say something negative about a transgender. Okay, if it's gonna be like that, I think it should be like that for everything. If you're gonna charge 25,000 for that, why wouldn't you charge 25,000 for someone saying something hateful at a rally? I just don't see how it's any different. Like, why am I going to get charged 25,000 if I say something about this group, but now other people can say that they're happy that someone died from another group and they're celebrating their death, and that's okay? To me, it's the same. You're
It's
still
all
Because you're not fighting. You're not fighting for fairness for your situation. You should be fighting for the freedom of expression and speech within your own country, so you don't get charged the $25,000.
to me, it's
You
just
shouldn't.
hate.
You
It's
shouldn't.
all
You
hate,
shouldn't put
right?
them on a fairness level with what you did that was probably right, right? And then say that it does that because it normalizes the fact that the government has the right to charge you with hate crimes or freedom of speech violations. So you don't want them being on the same level as you. You want them to be on a different level as you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You never want to give away your freedom of speech because you wind up like some of these other countries that were Soviet countries when they broke, right? And they're still communist countries to this day and not doing well.
Freedom of
So
speech, but not exploiting hate. I just
There's three things that I will die for. Well, besides my children, but things. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and my Second Amendment.
So let's talk about this. In Canada, they've just announced that there's been 5 deaths, 5 Canadians that got slaughtered in that massacre in the special operation in Israel. And apparently 29 Americans, last time I looked, dead and many missing. So my question is, there's Canadians there, there's Americans there. I'm getting a lot of people on social media saying that America should not be in the war. And my response is, well, there's 29 Americans already dead, and there's hostages that have been taken. So my question to you guys is, should America be involved in this war? Nash Cowboy.
Absolutely. But I don't. But at the same time, that's such a touchy subject. I think America caused the war. All right. I
So does
also think
Donald Trump.
America.
Donald
I
Trump is saying
also think
that the
America
Biden
caused the
administration caused
Ukrainian
it.
war. We shouldn't have been pushing buttons at the beginning, and none of this would have happened probably. Now, should America protect Israel? Absolutely, in my opinion.
Okay.
It goes back very, very deep. So there's a long history lesson on that. but I'd take up all your time.
Okay. What do you think, King Earl?
I think it plainly states somewhere, I'm not going to say where, but it says that the land of Israel and the Israelites shall be a burden upon the earth until the end of days. And the biggest burden. But I do not think that we should set boots on ground within the Gaza Strip. Okay? We have people there who have a job to do. We did not send those people there that are involved with the attack, probably. And they were probably there in vacation and then got involved in the incident that went on. It's been known that it's a war-torn country continuously by 4 years of war every time. Okay? Whether they have a peace treaty or not. I mean, you're looking at the situation. I don't want to get into religion on it, but you're looking at the fact that neither side like each other, and they will continue to fight each other until the end of day. Okay? But we have a response team that is very good at what they do. The chances of American people being within the Gaza Strip still at this time is highly unlikely, especially after the fact of the U.S. government giving out $6 billion, $1 billion each per prisoner, after it is America's stance to not negotiate with freaking terrorists.
Except for
Okay?
Biden's already broken that rule.
And he's not the first president, and he won't be the last. Okay? I'm just going to say that. But there comes a standpoint where people know what they're getting themselves into when they go somewhere. And I've said it a couple of times, if you're going to take a vacation in the outer rim of a volcano and you fall in, you don't expect America to go blow up the volcano just because you're an American. Okay? So for us to go in is going to cause more issues than anything. We have special people who can fit in very well with other organizations if we need it to be so. But we need to sit back, gather the intelligence, wait for the opportune moment, and do what we need to do at that time. Or wait and see what happens. But I do not think we need to have boots on the ground at this time.
Okay.
Even though Israel will continue to be the greatest burden of the world.
Yeah, well, we've seen how this is really
It is.
escalated, and I'd love to know what you have to say about this. Did you want to say something, Cowboy?
Israel. All right, I'm on the scripture side of things, and Israel will not be wiped out. They've tried forever. They will not be wiped out. A lot of people don't know this, but the British actually used to own that land. Back shit, I don't even know. 1936, I believe. The British gave that land to the Palestinians. And Israel, the Israelis had just a small section of land. And actually, I was going to try and pull this up on my TV a little bit ago, but it wouldn't. My HDMI cord's bad. So, like,
Yeah, the Israelites were there when the Romans conquered it and formed Syria, Palestina, and the
yeah.
Palestinians took over.
I can't switch my camera, can I?
So, like, my opinion on this subject. Let me just get that out real quick before I forget.
Go ahead, Blaze.
Look, if you get in a bar fight, right, and people are shooting guns at each other, police show up, right?
Yep,
Because we pay them to serve and protect, right?
absolutely.
Okay. Well, you're held hostage in a country being raped, beaten, spit on, and you have a military that you help pay for. So, yes, they need to go in and get our people, dead or alive. And that's how it goes. That's my vote. I'm sorry, but you took our people. We would have, you put us in a situation. They know they did. If they think they're gonna just keep taking people and send them back broken and hurt and beaten and mentally abused for a couple $1 billion, I don't think at this case it's gonna happen. I think we have what Earl said. We have intelligence in there, probably already. And if they can find out what's going on, whether they're going to report back hostages are alive or if they're gone yet, you know what I mean? So that's what we're doing right now, and I'm sure they're already over there doing what they're doing.
All right. Well, it's
It has to be done. Every life, one life, you saved one of those hostages, and you took a job to be a soldier, and you go in and get them.
so I've seen some people say that their kids are being deployed. So there are Americans that are being deployed. There are warships in the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you guys is this now. Do you think that those warships will ever be used in an attack in this war? Or do you believe that they're just there to chaperone and make sure that the war doesn't escalate? What do you think? We'll start with you, Cowboy.
I think they will be used. I think that was the plan before the war ever started. That's just me. Look, here's the fact, and here's what we all need to get past. All right, is that as people from every nation, we need to come united because it's not us against us; it's us against spiritual wickedness, evildoers, the elite, and we need to figure out a way to unite. Like you said earlier, I just pray for peace. I don't want to see anybody dead on any side. I don't want to see war in this country. I hope my kids get the chance to grow up and never experience that. Over there, every so often, the children over there do experience it on both sides. It's been going on ever since Isaac and Ishmael in the Bible. Um, it's been very drawn out. But as humans, we need to come to a place of acceptance and unite. That's just all there is to it. But will that happen? I think it's planned that way by a higher power evilness than me or you either know.
Okay, well said. King Earl, what do you think? You think these warships that will be sent to the Mediterranean from the U.S. and U.K. will be used in this war?
In the Israeli-Hamas war?
Yes.
No.
They could.
Not until we have to actually get involved. Okay? So, as it stands as of right now, of two countries, I don't even want to call it two countries, a terrorist organization versus a country, attacking
Hamas
each
versus
other.
Israel. Hamas versus Israel.
Yeah. So it's country versus a group of terrorists, right? Because I'm not going to declare Gaza as a secondary state of Palestine. Sorry, it's not happening.
It's not.
The thing is that I don't believe that we're going to get involved, especially with the amount of firepower we already have in the region. The amount that people are currently tracking is not even accurate of what we have in the region. We've been well within the region for many years, along with the other 50 NATO or the other 50 UN nations. There's a strong stance within the area because even as Israel continues to have these skirmishes with Hamas, Hamas is always looked at as the winner, even though Israel is the one that has never lost a battle or a war. But they do well on their own. They're one of the most powerful militaries in the world for as little of a country as they are. Right? So we don't really have to get involved. We're just there as a deterrence for other countries that might get involved. And we also have the capability to do so much more with what we have right there, right now, and with what people don't know that we have right there, right now.
Okay. Well said.
So you, so
Well
do you
said,
not
Earl.
think, do you
So
not think, Earl,
basically,
that
what I would
anybody
say,
can, go ahead, go ahead.
I would
Sorry.
talk you. My bad. All right. So, yeah, what I would say is that we have all that there because it's kind of like pawns. You know, they're playing chess. You know, if one of those ships get attacked at, game on, with no question.
For
But
sure.
they're showing up because we have Americans on their soil. They took American hostage, so we have a right to be there. They're going to negotiate. We're going to negotiate our way. But as for us, if there was no American hostages, we probably wouldn't even have ships there. Okay, we wouldn't. We have a right to be there. They're going to do their thing. We're going to try and get our people back because Israel really don't need America to take on this other country or other state. That's my opinion. It's just like we're at your door. We're giving you an opportunity to fork people back over, or if you come at us, then we have to do what we got to do. We're not
Especially
going
as
to
it's
strike first.
discussed a brokered deal between Egypt and the U.S. and Israel today to let
Right.
people out through Egypt out of the Gaza Strip. So they're actually
Mhm.
evacuating people into Egypt now.
Yeah. So the more they want to hold people, the more they want to play their game. We have a couple pretty big militaries over there that know how to, work around games, and I have the faith in Israel and the United States to try and get some people home safe. Hopefully, we can.
Okay, well said. So I'd love to know your guys' opinion because we've got like 8 minutes left, so time is flying. So I'd love to know your guys' opinion. We're gonna start with you, Nash. Will Iran, Russia, or China get involved in this war, or all three? And my opinion is, if all three do get involved in this war, we are definitely in World War III. So, what do you think? Do you think Iran, Russia, China, all three, or maybe just Iran, or maybe Iran and China, or maybe Iran and Russia? Do you think any of those three or all three get involved in this war?
I think all three. And I think that my fear on the whole thing is that we're spreading ourselves out too much and that China or Russia or whoever is going to say, oh, well, all this stuff spread out here. We can just come in here. That's my fear. And from inside out. And from inside out.
Well,
So that's my fear. But now what most people don't know is in the South, we have more guns than every single military put together in the hands of civilians. So it's not a smart move, but I do think they will try.
Americans are armed, so it makes it more difficult too.
Americans are more armed than any other country.
So Americans are
Americans are
Civilians.
better
more armed.
prepared.
American civilians just in the South have more guns than
In the South, in the Southern
every
guys, look at, I'm a New Englander. These guys are way, way more nastier than we are. These Southern boys right here, you do not go on their property. It'll be a New
we have more
Englanders. We try
guns.
to talk it out a little bit, but down south, bro, if they catch you over there fishing, boy, you ain't getting through there.
Yeah, we have more guns than every single military
Yep.
put together, including our own,
Wow.
in the hands of civilians.
I
Our
guess this
buddy
question is like
Roll
this.
Tide over there has got like 96 of them on his own. I saw every one of them. Earl Nash, they ain't holding BB guns.
Yeah.
But I'm the
Well,
only American that you probably know without a gun.
Yeah.
I use paintball guns and what do you call them? Orbeez.
Hey, that's
Earl still hasn't showed up to show me how to shoot.
Earl, what do you think? Will Iran, Russia, or China, or all three, or a combination of two, any of those three countries get involved in this war? And if they do, I think essentially we're in World War III.
I'll just say it like this: they better fucking hope they don't even think about it. Okay?
Earl said, click clack.
Beep. All right. Well said. Well said. Blaze, what do you think?
I'm trying to sip my coffee. I almost just choked to death.
You made Blaze choke there with your response.
Yeah, I had a
there.
whole mouth of coffee, dude. You guys almost got sprayed. All right.
Iran, Russia,
Russia.
and China, Blaze. Will Iran, Russia, China, or all three, or a combination of two, or none of those countries get involved in this war?
Okay, Russia, they got their hands full with a little country on this left side. China, they're too busy working deals. And I think Iran may have a little business over there. So I just don't think it would be in China or Russia's best interest. China alone, because the amount of money debt we have between them, and things they own in the United States, they don't want this stuff blown up and broken. So didn't they already get escorted out of the away from what, Alaska or something? They were in our ocean, and we escorted China and Russian ships out of there a little while ago. And we already had people over. Yeah, we had people over in the Mediterranean, right? So I mean, we're covering our bases. We don't have everybody over there, right? We just have a couple chess pieces over there of
Some
very
large
highly
chess
trained
pieces.
American soldiers with a lot of intelligence. We have allies that are ready at every time. So no, I don't think two of the three, maybe one. The one I'm not sure about is definitely Iran, but the other two, nah, because one's planning on going over here and one's already trying to. Well, they have problems with the Ukraine right now. So, and if China's planning on Thailand, Iran might be the one that gets their nose involved.
Well, let's
Maybe
just
even
say when we
Syria.
talk about them being involved, it's we're talking about boots on the ground or weapons flying directly
Yeah,
from that
that's what I mean.
country or that government launching special operations from
I
their
think at
military
this point,
standpoint, not financial backing
yeah, I think at this
or
point,
weapons.
Iran might be the country that does escalate the issue if it gets a little out of hand. I think
Well,
it'll
I
be them.
mean, in like 67 or something like that, Egypt and all of them tried to annihilate Israel and they severely lost.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I think at that time, Nash, they were looking at Iran was already involved, and they were looking at the PLO with Tarif being in power, and then when they actually took over the UN over there, they found out that the UN had terrorist training camps on the UN property and enough weapons to power over 1 million-man army, and it was too sophisticated for the current PLOs, Palestinian groups, and it was actually set up for a Russian invasion into Israel in 1967.
yeah.
All right, guys, my last question, because we've got 2 minutes left, but you guys take as long as you want to answer this question. Okay. Do you think that there will be a resolution to this war? This war has been going on forever, hundreds of years. So, do you think there will be a resolution to this war? And if so, what will the resolution look like? Some people are saying that Hamas has to get wiped off the earth. Some people believe that Israel needs to be wiped off the earth. Some people believe that Israel's going to occupy Gaza. Some people believe that Palestine will occupy Gaza. Will there be a resolution? How long will it take? And what is it going to look like? Nash Cowboy. Last question.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's going to take either one of two things: fear or compassion on either side. Um, like I said, this has been going on since Isaac and Ishmael in the Bible, two twins. And those two twins have been fighting over this ever since. There has to come some peace somewhere along the lines. And it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Hopefully some people get the hint and don't fear somebody else raising their children. uh, there's just so much that goes into it. Is there a solution? The only solution is peace. Um, and it's unlikely that it'll happen. Like I said, 1936, 47, 67. You know, this has been going on for a long time. Israel has been tried to be wiped off the planet. Nazis, I mean, they've been attacked throughout time. And so I don't see it ever stopping. Will there be pauses? Yeah. But I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Because unfortunately, a lot of humans are more like parasites than humans, and they just want complete control. So I don't know. I don't know if there is a solution. Hopefully, fear either strikes in them and it stops, or compassion strikes in them and it stops.
Well
I'll
said.
leave it at that.
Well said. King Earl, what do you think? Does this war end? Will there be a resolution? And if so, what is the resolution?
There is no resolution to this war. This war's been going on over 3,000 years. We're looking at the fact of Jeremiah, the Gelatins, the Romans, the freaking Persians, and multiple other countries have been attacking the Jews throughout the years. And they always get shunned for it at the end of the war, whether they're defending themselves or going on the onslaught. They're always the most hated race in all of humanity on Earth, even if they're doing the right thing. The issue
So
is that you have a hate group surrounding them on all sides that does not want peace. They do not want peace at all. They signed these freaking accords. They signed these peace treaties the same way Muhammad did back in the day. And then 2 years later, he went in and attacked the deacons. They're doing the same freaking thing every time. They're getting more land. They're getting their people into Israel, and then they're attacking the Israeli people. It's the continuation every freaking time of what goes on. War is nasty. There's death. And I want to put it to the point of if it was Hamas attacking Israel or America this way, there would be death ringing on your doorstep before night fell, and you would die a burning death and continue to roast in hell. Okay? You don't fuck with people's families and you don't fuck with their kids. There was peace before you attacked, and there will be peace after you're dead.
Well
That's
said.
the only resolution.
and
Hey,
somebody
you
else
know
will
what?
raise
It's
your
your freedom
children.
of speech as an American. And you know what? I agree with Earl. But there's factors here, okay? I believe this time, right? A, they're going to do what Earl said. They're going to use intelligence. They're going to find out if people are alive that they're holding. B, if people are gone, right? C, Israel is going for a complete wipeout. And I do not think they're going to stop after they knock Gaza down. And what they're going to do is they're going to give them time because Egypt opened the doors is to evacuate. They're going to tell them, you need to evacuate. We're giving you time, unlike they gave our people time. Because they're humane. I listened to the colonel speak multiple times. He's going to give them time, get over to Israel, get over to Egypt, whoever's left behind. If they find out, which I think they're going to find out bad news, unfortunately, and I don't want to be that person, but I don't think they're treating them well over there. And I think that, Israel, the year 2023 is going to finish what they started this time. I think we're going to see it. I'm sorry. I think they're taking over that whole place. Gaza's gone.
It all comes down to this for me.
They're not giving them any more chances. Look at 1947, 1948. Look,
1960s, 1900s,
1960s.
1800s.
Right. No, let's go with our lifetimes and our grandparents, right? So in the 60s, right? Look at this time
2000s,
around.
2020.
This time around, the Israeli people are not going to take any chances with the power they got right now. They're not going to.
It all comes down to this for me, Rich.
There's never
And
going to be any.
like I said, I'm on the scripture side of it. And scripture says that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, turn from their wicked ways, and pray, I will heal their nations. That's what it comes down to for me. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
But in that circumstance, if we're going by scripture, Jeremiah, in book of Jeremiah, it also said that Israelite, I will give you the power and the torch to decimate everything in front of you, and you
They got
shall never lose. And they
they
That
got
will.
they got the
that's
torch right now. I'm
that's
telling
why
you.
Israel got knocked down to this little white area here and came up to this area here.
That was the Turkeys and Jordanians that did that to them.
So my
Israel is
last two
right.
cents, guys. We're gonna say goodbye, but my last 2 cents is we really want to give peace a chance. You can see here, I've got
Yep.
3 guests, 3 co-hosts that are all in America. They want to see peace. I'm in Canada. I want to see peace. We've had 5 Canadians die. We've had at least 29 Americans die. We've had people literally from all over the world that have been touched by this terrible massacre. And I think the solution is peace. I think the only solution is peace. I think everyone should have land in this earth that they can grow and have children and have their kids go to school and be fed and have fresh water and have a future. And I think we need to work together as humanity to find a resolution. And the only resolution is peace. We need to put the guns down. We need to talk about it. We need to eradicate terrorism all over the world, work together to eradicate it and eliminate it completely. And we need to come together as brothers and sisters, shoulder to shoulder, and say, we're going to give peace a chance. We're going to work together, shoulder to shoulder, to live together on this world, because everybody deserves land in this world. Everybody. Not one group deserves it more than another. Everybody deserves land and an opportunity to have a future for their families in this world. But what does not deserve any opportunity to have a future or to grow in this world, in my opinion, any further, is terrorism. So I think the world needs to work together to fight terrorism, to eliminate fear, and work together as humanity, as brothers and sisters, so we can have a future and to give peace a chance. And I wanted to thank you guys for joining me today. Nash Cowboy, King Earl, Blaze, really appreciate you guys coming. And for those of you guys that are watching, this is the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 21. And we'd love to see you guys again. And this was a great show, guys. A special report, 100% on the war. Guys, we just talked for 57 minutes on one topic. So that's
Hey,
how
Rich.
much there is to talk about. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we
Yeah,
say
I got one thing to add. The Eagles just got beat by the Jets.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes, sir.
That's
and the
good news.
49ers lost to Cleveland. No more undefeated teams in the NFL.
Wow, the 49ers lost to Cleveland.
Yep.
See, that blows me away. I didn't know about any of that, but I'm very happy about both of those results.
Yes.
Anybody else got anything to say before we say goodbye, gentlemen?
All I can say is humble yourself and pray.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
Click clack, the
Think
boogeyman
positive,
goes
have
deep in
faith,
the
and
night.
things will
Make sure
happen.
you're safe.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, follow my co-hosts. I'll have a description to their YouTubes in this video. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm your host of the most, your boy Rich and Rich TV, saying if you're not winning, you're probably not watching. We bring you the winners, CEO interviews, breaking news, trending topics, and we bring it to you first. We hope you love our new engaging shows, which I believe are really growing thanks to my amazing co-hosts. Guys, have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Salute.
Peace.